With the sun shining, it's time to reach for your towels and the sunscreen. Factor 40 if you know what's good for you. From Australia to Southern California, the coastlines of the world are awash with beautiful beaches. Prime real estate for catching some rays and going for a cooling paddle. But what if you are after something a little different? What if you want your beach to offer up a little more than crystal clear waters and endless soft white sands? Then watch on, because today we're going to be exploring unusual beaches around the world. Number 10. Glass Beach, California. Kicking off our tour of unusual beach destination is Glass Beach in California. Don't worry, you don't have to wear shoes. Well, unless you want to. The glass at Glass Beach isn't the jagged, sharp kind you are likely to cut your toes on. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This beach was actually a dump site from 1949 to 1967. And that explains its name and all the multicolored glass that can be found there. It's located close to Fort Bragg in California, and thanks to Mother Nature and the constant waves, most of the glass is slowly disappearing. Number 9. Koekohe Beach, New Zealand. On the coast of New Zealand's South Island, about an hour's drive north of Dunedin is Koekohe Beach. Here scattered along the beach are strange and fascinating phenomena known as the Moraki boulders. According to the Maori legend, these enormous stones, which can stretch to 2 meters wide, are the remains of the eel baskets, calabashes, and the kumeras washed ashore. After the Ritoru, a legendary canoe was wrecked at sea. In actuality, the boulders are concretions that have slowly exposed themselves after millions of years of shoreline erosion. Concretions are truly spectacular natural occurrence and for many years baffled geologists. They're a result of buried sediment and mineral cement gathering over time and turning into rock. Some of those exposed took up to 4 million years to form. The best time to visit the beach is in the morning or late afternoon, when the stones are cast in soft light. Alternatively, for a more atmospheric experience, a photo too. Head down when the storm's rolling in. It looks like a scene from a movie. Number 8. Bioluminescent Beach, Maldives. Forget about sunbathing and save the early hours of the night to enjoy this rare and one-of-a-kind show. Do you know there's a beach in Muthu Island, also known as Vadhu Island, of Maldives that glows at night? Yes, you heard right. This glow in the dark is basically a natural phenomenon called bioluminescence, wherein light is emitted or created by living organism. Moreover, the sea is vast, mysterious, and full of unknown creatures. It is believed that there are several marine animals that are capable of performing light-producing action. And therefore the light produced at Vadhu Beach is because of these organisms, which lights up the sea shorelines in the most magical manner. It's altogether an otherworldly occurrence, for which people travel from near and far. And that's the reason why newlyweds prefer jetting off for their honeymoon here. Number 7. Pink Sands Beach, Bahamas. The almost indescribable pale pink color of the sand comes from the microscopic coral insects known as foraminifera, which have bright pink or red shells full of holes, through which extends pseudopodia, footings that uses it to attach itself and feed. Foraminifera are among the most abundant single-cell organisms in the ocean and play a significant role in the environment. These animals live on the underside of reefs, like the nearby Devil's Backbone, on the seafloors, beneath rocks, and in caves. After the insect dies, the wave action crushes the bodies and washes the remains ashore, mixes it with the sand and bits of coral. The pink stands out more in the wet sand at the water's edge. Unlike other parts of the world, the sand here is always cool, so you can walk about freely with bare feet. Number 6. Scala dei Turchi, Italy. The Scala dei Turchi, Stair of the Turks, is a rocky cliff on the coast of Real Monte near Porto Empedocle, southern Sicily, Italy. It has become a tourist attraction partly due to its mention in Andrea Camillari's series of detective stories about the Commissario Montalbano. The Scala is formed by marl, a sedimentary rock with a characteristic white color. It lies between two sandy beaches and is accessed through a limestone rock formation in a form of a staircase, hence the name. The latter part of the name derives from the frequent raids carried on by the Moors. In August 2007, the municipality of Rialmonte applied for the inclusion of the Scala del Turchi, together with the nearby Roman Villa Aurora, in the UNESCO Heritage List. In February 2020, following years of complaints about poor environmental protection of the site from erosion, tourist vandalism, Italian prosecutors seized control of the site. They ordered its temporary closure for monitoring and announced that they were investigating a man who claimed ownership of the site, in dispute with the Rialmonte local authority. Number 5. Shell Beach, Australia. Formed from billions of tiny shells, the amply named Shell Beach is located 45 kilometers southeast of Dunham, in the Shark Bay World Heritage Area not far from the Hemmeline Pool. This beautiful snow-white beach is made up of billions of tiny shells up to 10 meters deep and stretching for over 70 kilometers. There is no sand, only shells. Shell Beach is one of only a handful of places on Earth where shells replace beach sand in such a dramatic and picturesque way. A walk on Shell Beach is like no other. Incredibly, the beach is made up of shells from Shark Bay Koekohe, making it truly unique. In the early 1900s, the shells were quarried and hand-picked, cut into blocks and used to construct a number of historic buildings. In the nearby town of Dunham, some of which can still be seen today, such as the Old Perler restaurant. On a still day, the ocean of Shell Beach transforms into a palette of the most intense greens and blues, and the water is very salty, making it easy to float for those who aren't strong swimmers, similar to the Dead Sea in Jordan. Number 4. Elafonissi, Greece. In this paradisaic corner of Greece, the color of the sand is normally white, but depending on the light, it turns pink. The Elafonissi beach is another perfect spot for beautiful and unique photos. By far one of the most beautiful beaches on the island, Elafonissi is situated on the southwest coast. A tropical effect is created by its white and pink coral sands. Head to the right for shallow water in small enclosed lagoon ideal for children. A walk through the lagoon to the isle is the most worthwhile as you will discover this unique coastline. The coral sands and the warm shallow waters attract swimmers, spear fishermen, and windsurfers from all over the world. The lively island is also of historical significance. 650 women and children fled to the isle during the Turkish occupation of Crete in 1841. As the women and children were hiding, the Turks camped alongside the opposing beach. One of the soldiers' horses happened to discover the shallow passage to the isle. Subsequently, the Turks discovered the women and children and slaughtered them in a tragic massacre. There's a memorial plaque on the highest point of the isle. Number 3. Beach of the Cathedrals, Ribadeo. The incredible arches of this Galician beach in Spain are the reason for its name, the Beach of the Cathedrals in English, or Playa de las de Cathedrales in Spanish. The powerful waves are responsible for this unique landscape that are well worth a visit, and plenty of photos, during the last hours of the day when the sun gets between the rocks. Located along the western boundary of the Cantabrian Rasa, this beach alone proves that Mother Nature had a fondness for flying buttresses eons before any human engineer patted himself on the back for coming up with the now iconic architectural feature. Number 2. Giant's Causeway, Ireland. The Giant's Causeway lies at the foot of the basalt cliffs, along the seacoast on the edge of the Antrim Plateau in Northern Ireland. It is made up of 40,000 massive black basalt columns sticking out of the sea. The dramatic site has inspired legends of giants striding over the Sea of Scotland. Geological studies of these formations over the 300 years have greatly contributed to the development of the earth sciences, and show that this striking landscape was caused by volcanic activity during Tertiary some 50 to 60 million years ago. The Giant's Causeway and Causeway Coast is a particular area of global geological importance on the sea coast at the edge of the Antrim Plateau in Northern Ireland. The most characteristic and unique feature of this site is the exposure of some 40,000 large, rectangularly shaped polygonal columns of basalt in perfect horizontal sections, forming a pavement. This dramatic site has inspired legends of giants. Celebrated in the arts and in science, it has been a visitor attraction for at least 300 years and has come to be regarded as a symbol for Northern Ireland. Number 1. Jökulsárlón, Iceland. Lying 370 kilometers east of Reykjavik is one of Iceland's greatest natural wonder, the glacial lagoon of Jökulsárlón. This is another of the most unique beaches in the world, and it's freezing, so forget your towel and swimmers. Reached by the beach of black volcanic sand, Jökulsárlón has featured in several Hollywood movies, including Batman Begins and James Bond installment starring Pierce Brosnan. Die Another Day, remember the car chase scene across the frozen lagoon? That's right, that's Jökulsárlón. The lagoon is a result of melting glacier and, sadly, global warming. Massive chunks of nearby glacier are melting, causing them to break off and fall into the lagoon where they float atop the water. Because the lagoon is at sea level, it is also fed by the Atlantic. This pours into the Jökulsárlón at high tide. As a result of the melting glacier and the seawater from the Atlantic, it continues to grow with time. It's also Iceland's deepest lake. To experience the lagoon in all its splendor, consider taking an amphibious bus. These see you driving along the beach before slipping into the water and sailing between the massive icebergs. Well, that's all we have for you today. Until next time, talkers.